Hi, my name is Zephyr Wildman. Welcome to practice. In this practice, we're going to be looking at the Niyamas. In yoga, we place ourselves in relationship with something in order to have a positive effect. Yoga provides so much support through Asana, Pranayama, meditation, mantra, observations, teacher-student relationship, and as well as a Sangha, like a community or a teaching school. But the purpose of yoga is really to clear the lens in which we encounter the world fully, in the present moment, in the here and now, in this sense of witnessing what is arising without distortion or distraction. So the niyamas are the 5 ethical disciplines or observations or guidelines in that which we have a relationship with ourselves. So the first of the niyamas is Sauca, which it refers to self-care. It usually is interpreted as cleanliness or purification, but it's this way in which we pay attention to tending, nurturing, mothering, protecting, and treasuring ourselves. And it usually refers to the outer experience, but this sense of how do we actually take care of ourselves. So it's about self-care. The next niyama is Samtosa, and it points towards the state of contentment inside. This sense of being satisfied, fulfilled, a sense of ease or serenity, this ability to experience equanimity in the mind, the heart, and in the body. The next one is tapas. Tapas are practices that create heat for positive change. This is not just physical heat, but it's energetic heat and mental heat of concentration. The next niyama is Sva Dhyaya, and this is the practice of self-study, self-observation, self-understanding, that self-knowledge, and the ability to reflect, that study by and of oneself. So it's really about taking responsibility and accountability for what surfaces in practice, on and off your mat. And then the last one is Isvara Pranidhana. It's that humbly handing your will and your life over to the Godhead of your understanding. Isvara is Godhead, and that Godhead can be anything you wish, whether you believe in a God or you sense, the quantum physics, whatever is behind string theory, the energy that moves electron and protons, or it might be the energy of nature. It might be the energy of life force, whatever is behind life. That sense of surrendering and handing to in that process of letting go and allowing that life force, that intelligence, that consciousness to actually be present. So you feel the companion of presence. So the Hatha Yoga Pradipika kind of warns by actually stating graha niyama, of looking at taking these niyamas to an extreme. So looking at unhealthy motivations or obsessions with these and trying to find a sense of a middle path, because when we take them to an extreme, it becomes self-abusive and harmful. And then we're not actually practicing ahimsa. So that idea is with Sauca, meaning cleanliness or purification. Sauca is really of looking at how we care for ourselves and imagining that we care for ourselves and the environment around us as if we're caring for a loved one or a beloved pet. So we value our bodies, our minds, our hearts, and preparing them for the state of yoga. So there's 5 fruits towards Sauca. So the fruits are, when you practice Sauca, the first one is there's clarity in your mind. There's a quality of stillness, quietude. There's this sense of equanimity. So that is really important, that you start to see that, when you clean your house, you mentally feel clean inside, but if your house is all messy, you feel mentally messy. So it's the same kind of concept. The next fruit of Sauca is a positive mind, a cheerful, joyous, like to really find that the mind has sincere gratitude in the way in which it thinks. The next fruit of Sauca is that there is an ability to create a one-pointed focus on any given object, that there is this ability for a concentrated mind. The next fruit of Sauca is that you have control over your senses. You don't feel imprisoned by your senses as your eyes are darting around the room. You're kind of constantly seeking sound or more tasty things to eat or feeling more sensation that is better than this one. So there's a sense of contentment in the normality of this moment and turning your senses in to learn how to nurture you. The next fruit of Sauca is that you have a greater capacity to realize the self and that you are so much more than the limiting belief systems. Like, I'm Zephyr, I'm a mother, I'm a yoga teacher, I am a woman, I have this amount of money. I am so much more than the labels. I am so much more than my body. I'm so much more than my emotions. I'm so much more than my thoughts. I am that witnessing awareness that is perceiving this embodiment, that I am so much greater than. And so our practice is really to turn our attention towards abiding in the self as thyself, to actually rest quite contently in the seat of our own heart. So, Sauca aside, the next one comes Samtosa, which is contentment. It's happiness for no reason. And it's that real sense that life is good enough as it is right now. It's a sense of maturity. Over the umbrella of life, it's going to be okay. And as we kind of see that there is we are the eye of the storm, that kind of stillness as chaos is kind of rolling around, that we have a sense of self that is like independent of our failings and our successes. That we have a core sense of what we are, not just who we are, but what we are. This then unfolds into tapas. These transformative practices that create heat, that ignite and blaze this kind of inner fire to create renewal, restoration, inspiration, the sense of uncovering actually sometimes maybe undigested physical, emotional, mental holding in our body, and that we create necessary discomfort and suffering as an opportunity to create positive change in our practice. This then unfolds into Sva Dhyaya, this sense of self-study, that we become aware of our actions, aware of our reactions, start to look and be inquisitive and explore our body as we reflect and observe and question sometimes stuff that comes up. Like, do I really believe that? Is that really true? Do I feel that is actually something my heart longs for and or I abide by? So there's this sense that we start to question and be more accountable and responsible towards stuff that is coming up as we learn more about ourselves. And then the process of the next niyama, Isvara Pranidhana, is that we start handing our will and our life over to something greater than ourselves. So we start to acknowledge that we all have limitations, being these embodied humans, these spirited embodied humans. But we all share the unique human ability to self-reflect and experience something beyond our conditioned consciousness. So what is that? And so this process of that I am open and I am willing, please guide me. I hand my life and my will over to you. Do your will for me, not my own. In that way in which you allow the divinity to use you as a conduit, to embody and to experience what is yours to experience and to learn from and evolve as we move forward on and off our mats. So hopefully in this practice, you'll feel that you get to embody these philosophical and psychological principles and use these guidelines to be able to go deeper into practice and to, be curious about, today and what teachers are going to arise in any form in how we have better relationships with ourselves, others, and our environment, to really use the support that yoga provides to be able to clear the lens of our perception so there's no distortion or distraction, that we connect to really the truth of our heart and we have a relationship with ourselves. There's this sense of clarity, of self-care, that light within, that we feel content, that we are able to feel that confidence and courage to bravely face discomfort and challenge when it arises, and to know ourselves in the way in which then we work towards having deeper relationships and then trusting in the power greater than ourselves to carry us through it. So I hope that makes sense. I hope you take this and really practice this in all of your affairs, on and off your mat. So enjoy, have fun practicing.